All right, thanks, guys. And ladies and gentlemen, the moment a lot of people out there have been waiting for finally happened yesterday. That's right. We finally lost a daily best play. We had Denver at -6, caught them at a bad number, and they only won by 3. So there were some winners out there, but when it comes to the daily best play, our hot streak, well, I don't want to say it's over, but we finally suffered a loss. Now that loss is going to drop us to 6-1 in our last 7 daily best plays. My question to you is this: are we on the tail end of the heater? Is the heater finally over, or is this just a little road bump and we're about to go on a 15-1 stretch? There's only one way to find out, and that's sign up on my Patreon website. Once again, it's just $1.99 per month. Link for that site is in the description section below. Once again, that is patreon.com/BrockPage, where we are currently 6-1 in our last 7 daily best plays. All right, guys, we got ourselves a nice little slate of NBA action here tonight, so let's go ahead and dive into it. Beginning with the Bulls taking on the Sixers, 7 o'clock Eastern tip-off in Philadelphia. The Sixers are the 7.5-point favorite, total at 216. Not a whole lot of movement with regard to the sides in this one. Pretty good two-way action there. We did see some movement downward on the total. The Sixers open and remain -7.5. Total open 217 down to 216. 69% of the consensus are leaning toward Philadelphia. 63% shaded toward the over. And right now Chicago is plus 260 on the money line. Now if you like Chicago in this matchup here, just keep in mind, these guys are really struggling away from home. And as a matter of fact, they're just 7-13 in their 20 road games this year. They've also dropped 7 out of their last 9. Satoransky, Markkanen, and Hutchison, they're all listed as questionable for tonight's action. Chicago ranks in the bottom 10 in scoring, bottom 10 in offensive rebounding. They're averaging just 105 points per contest. They're also shooting just 43% from the field. And if you think they're bad offensively, they're struggling on the other end of the court as well, ranking in the bottom 10 in defensive rebounding. They're also in the bottom 3 in offensive rebounding on the road. The Chicago team is just 15-27 overall for the year, and they are 21.5 games back of the division lead in the Central Division. Now, Philly on the other side, these guys have been awesome at the Wells Fargo Center. They're 19-2 straight up at home this year, just a remarkable home record. They also rank in the top 10 in offensive field goal percentage. They're just 2 games back in the Atlantic Division. They're also ranking in the top 10 in offensive rebounding and top 10 in points allowed. Tobias Harris, he's averaging 20 points a game, 7 rebounds. Josh Richardson, 16 points a game, 3 assists for him. And Ben Simmons, 15 points a game, 8 rebounds, and 8 assists for the Sixers. Philadelphia ranks in the top 3 in defensive rebounding, top 10 in home offensive rebounding as well. They're giving up just 102 points per contest on average at the Wells Fargo Center. Now, 6 out of Philly's last 9 did stay under the number. Meanwhile, Chicago 3-0 to the under in their last 3 themselves. I'm going to lean Sixers -7.5 and the under 216 in that contest. Next game, Wizards taking on the Raptors, 7 o'clock Toronto. The Raptors are -10, total at 229. We saw a 1-point fade of Toronto and movement downward on the total. The Raptors open as the 11-point favorite, down to -10. Total open 230, down to 229. 69% are leaning Toronto, 61% shaded toward the over. Right now, Washington is plus 430 on the money line. Now, if you like Washington in this matchup here, you're not as crazy as you look. All right, these guys can put some points on the board. They rank in the top 5 in scoring, top 10 in shooting the 3-ball. They're averaging 115 points per contest. And believe it or not, they're 11-10 against the spread when traveling this year. A couple more things to add about Washington. They rank in the top 10 in road scoring. Bradley Beal's averaging 28 points a game, 5 rebounds, 7 assists. Davis Bertans, 15 points a game, 5 rebounds for him. And Jordan McRae, 14 points a game, 4 rebounds for the Wizards. Now, Toronto on the other side, they failed to cover the point spread in 4 out of their last 6. They actually, suffered failures to cover against the likes of San Antonio, Charlotte, and Portland during that stretch. They also rank in the bottom 10 in offensive field goal percentage, bottom 10 in defensive rebounding. Now, Toronto is 60% to the over in their last 5. Meanwhile, Washington, 13-8 to the over when traveling. I'm going to lean toward the road dog in this one. Give me the Wizards catching the double digits. That's right, Washington plus 10 and the over 229 in that contest. Next matchup, Timberwolves, Pacers, 7 o'clock, Indiana. The Pacers are minus 8.5, total 218 and a hook. Minnesota, losers of their last 3 straight. Just 1-4 against the spread in their last 5. Layman's out. Karl-Anthony Towns and Allen Crabbe are questionable. Minnesota ranks in the bottom 3 in offensive field goal percentage, bottom 3 in shooting the 3 ball. This Minnesota squad is just 9-12 straight up when traveling. They're also in last place in the Northwest Division, 13 games back of the lead in that division, 15-25 overall for the year. Now, Minnesota ranks in the bottom 10 in points allowed, and they rank dead last in the NBA in defensive rebounding on average per game. Indiana, on the other side, winners of their last 3 straight, 4-1 against the spread in their last 5. They rank in the top 10 in offensive field goal percentage, top 10 in points allowed. This Indiana squad, very good at home this year, 16-5 straight up at the Bankers Life Fieldhouse. They're also 13-8 against the spread on their home court as well. Domantas Sabonis, 18 points a game, 13 rebounds, 4 assists. Malcolm Brogdon, 18 points a game, 7 assists for the Pacers. And TJ Warren, 18 points a game, 4 rebounds for Indiana. This Pacers team ranks in the top 10 in defensive field goal percentage as well. They're also in the top 3 in defending the 3 ball at home. They're giving up just 105 points per contest in the friendly confines. Now, 6 out of Indiana's last 9 games did get over the number. Minnesota 4-2 to the over in their last 6. I'm going to lean Pacers minus 8.5 and the over 218.5 in that game. Before we go ahead and move on, just want to take another quick timeout and welcome you to the show. Got some lines and personal leans out for Friday's NBA action. Happy Friday, everybody. The weekend is finally here. I know I love me a good Friday night. Now, guys, before we go ahead and dive into some more free lines and personal leans right here on YouTube, I just want to quickly remind you once again to check me out on my red hot website at patreon.com/BrockPage, where once again we are currently 6-1 in our last 7 daily best plays on that website. We do daily premium sports picks on that site beginning at just $1.99 per month. We also have a bunch of different memberships, tiers, and packages that you can subscribe to. And that daily best play package that I'm just talking about right now, where we are 6-1 in our last 7 plays, that is the package that costs just $1.99 for the rest of the month. Now, guys, if you want to check out my current record, you can do that as well. You can do that for free. It's right on the homepage. And that kind of brings me to my point real quick. I don't want to take up too much of your time, but you're probably wondering, like, well, dude, why would I sign up for your Patreon page when you're giving me all the picks here for free on YouTube? And that's a great thought. That's a great question. And that is exactly what I do here on YouTube. I handicap every single game on the board, side and total. I formulate an opinion. I don't take any free passes. I don't have any stay away games. I do you the service of giving you an opinion on every single game, side and total. Now, here's the problem with that. If you were to bet your hard-earned money on every single game, side and total, you're guaranteed to lose. It's just too many games. The more games you bet like that, the more aggressive and egregious the math becomes against you. So I do the easy work for you on Patreon. What I do is I really break it down and focus in on 3 to 4 premium selections per day. They're games that I personally have action on. So really it's a win-win for me and you. It makes life easier for you. And essentially for me, all I'm doing is just sharing my my personal plays. But they're high percentage games, games that I personally have action on. And like I said, I'll tell you this much. My current Patreon record is a lot better than it is here on YouTube, handicapping games, side and total, throwing darts, just, guessing on every single game. So anyway, check out my record, patreon.com/BrockPage. My record is right on the homepage. All right, let's go ahead and get into some more free lines and personal leans right here on YouTube. All starts Eastern Standard Time. And on deck, we've got Cleveland taking on the Grizzlies. Let's try that again. Cleveland taking on the Grizzlies, not the Grimsleys. The Grizzlies, 8 o'clock Eastern tip-off in Memphis. The Grizzlies are -8, total 229. Now, we did see a half a point move toward Memphis. Really struggling with that name. We also saw movement downward on the total as well. The Grizzlies opened 7.5 up to -8. Total opened 229.5 down to 229 even. 65% are leaning Memphis. 63% shaded toward the under. And right now the Cavaliers are plus 290 on the money line. Now, if you like Cleveland in this spot here, you're absolutely nuts. But yeah, I'm crazy too, as you can tell. Cleveland, 60% against the spread in their last 5. They rank in the top 10 in defensive rebounding. Colin Sexton, 19 points a game. Kevin Love, 17 points a game, 10 rebounds. And Tristan Thompson, he's bringing down 13 points per contest for this Cavalier squad. Now, Memphis on the other side, Jay Crowder is listed as questionable. They also rank in the bottom 5 in points allowed. They're giving up 116 points per contest. Meanwhile, their opponents are shooting 37% from downtown against them. A couple more things to add about the Grizzlies. They rank in the bottom 3 in points allowed at home, and they are 7.5 games back of the Southwest Division lead. Now, 6 out of Memphis' last 9 games did get over the number. Meanwhile, Cleveland, they are 7-1 to the over in their last 8 themselves. I'm going to lean Cavaliers plus 8 and the over 229 in that contest. Next game, Heat taking on the OKC Thunder. 8 o'clock Eastern tip-off in OKC. Thunder's -6.5, total 213 and a hook. Winslow's still out indefinitely. Tyler Hero's listed as questionable for the Heat. Miami, just 1 and 2 straight up in their last 3. 40% against the spread in their last 10. The Heat ranked 20th in road offensive rebounding. They're also 9 and 12 against the spread when traveling. Now, OKC on the other side, winners of 7 out of their last 10. They also went 80% against the spread in their last 10 as well. Marquee covers over the likes of Houston, Philadelphia, and Dallas during that stretch. They also rank in the top 10 in offensive field goal percentage, top 10 in defensive rebounding. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, 20 points a game, 6 rebounds. Danilo Gallinari, 19 points a game, 6 rebounds for him. And Dennis Schroeder, 18 points a game, 4 rebounds for OKC. Thunder ranks in the top 3 in offensive field goal percentage at home, top 10 in defensive rebounding at home as well. Now, 5 out of OKC's last 7 games did get over the number. Miami, 70% to the over in their last 10 themselves. I'm going to lean OKC -6.5 and the over 213.5 in that contest. Next game, Hawks taking on the Spurs, 8:30 San Antonio. The Spurs open 8 up to -8.5. Total open 229.5 up to 230 and a hook. 57% are leaning San Antonio, 68% shaded toward the under. Right now, Atlanta's plus 315 on the money line. Now, Atlanta's just 3-7 in their last 10. Losses to Brooklyn, Washington, and Chicago during that stretch. Alex Len is out. Graham Fernando and Teague are questionable. The Hawks are just 4-18 on the road this year. 7-15 against the spread in those 22 road games. They rank in the bottom 10 in scoring, bottom 3 in shooting the 3 ball. They're giving up 121 points per contest away from home. Now, the Spurs on the other side, 11-9 straight up on their home court. They rank in the top 10 in scoring. They're averaging 114 points per contest. They're also shooting 47.2% from the field. The Spurs rank in the top 10 in offensive rebounding, top 3 in offensive field goal percentage. DeMar DeRozan's averaging 23 points a game, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists. LaMarcus Aldridge, 19 points a game, 8 rebounds, and 2 blocks. And Patty Mills, 12 points a game for the Spurs squad. San Antonio ranks in the top 3 in home three-point shooting. They also rank in the top 10 in home offensive rebounding. They're averaging 114 points per contest on their home court. Now, conversely, 6 out of San Antonio's last 9 games did get over the number. They're also 13-8 to the over at home. Now, 4 out of Atlanta's last 6 games got over the total as well. They're also 13-9 to the over when traveling. I'm going to lean San Antonio -8.5 and the over 230 and a hook in that game. Next and final matchup for the show, it is going to be Portland taking on Dallas, 9:30 Eastern tip-off. The Mavs are -10.5, total 226 and a hook. Dallas 3-0 straight up in their last 3 games, 5-3 against the spread in their last 8. They rank in the top 3 in scoring, top 5 in offensive rebounding. They're just a half game back of the division lead in the Southwest Division. They're 26-15 overall for the year. Now, Dallas ranks in the top 10 in shooting the three ball, top 5 in defending the three ball as well. Luka Doncic, 29 points a game, 10 rebounds, 9 assists, nearly averaging a triple-double. Kristaps Porzingis, 17 points a game, 9 rebounds, and 2 blocks. And Tim Hardaway, 14 points a game, 3 rebounds for him. The Mavs rank in the top 10 in offensive scoring at home, top 10 in home offensive rebounding. Now, Portland, they got 4 key guys that are still out indefinitely. And Mario Hezonja, he's listed as questionable with a back injury tonight. Now, this Portland squad ranks, well, their record is just 9-14 away from home, 10-13 against the spread in those 23 road games. Portland ranks in the bottom 10 in offensive field goal percentage, bottom 3 in defensive rebounding. Now, 5 out of Dallas's last 8 games got over the total. Dallas is also 24-17 to the over for the year. I'm going to lean Mavericks minus 10.5 and the over 226.5 in that game. All right, let's go ahead and dive into some shout-outs. Once again, brought to you by patreon.com/BrockPage, where our daily best play is 6-1 in our last 7 picks in that package, which is just $1.99 per month. Shout out to Johan Koo, Carlos Romero, Stephen Lewis, a.k.a. Dr. Bankroll, by the way. If you see Stephen Lewis, he's Dr. Bankroll because he cannot be defeated. This guy's red hot right now. Stephen Lewis, shout out to you. Shout out to Jordan Mayle, Kenneth Barneycastle, Jacob Todd, Pittsburgh Gentleman, PA, Dr. Vidingsvig. Shout out to Richie Rich, Rocco's Pizzeria, John Doe, Vernon Williard from Pennsylvania. Shout out to Ant Rod. And last but certainly not least, got to give a shout out to Penny Kemp. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. Once again, don't forget to check me out on Patreon. But most importantly, guys, I got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. I really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. Happy Friday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to going 7-1 today and seeing you on patreon.com/BrockPage.